Worship TV. Worship TV. Worship TV. Worship TV. We pray that Holy Spirit, that even as we continue the reading of your word, Holy Spirit, have your way, minister to us in Jesus' mighty name. I want to take this opportunity to welcome you, our dear viewers. I thank you for joining us this new week for yet another Bible reading. We are continuing in the book of Exodus, and we bless the Lord God Almighty for such a privilege. We are going to start right away from chapter 18. Chapter 18, verse 1. And Jethro, the priest of Midian, Moses' father-in-law, heard of all that God had done for Moses and for Israel, his people, that the Lord had brought Israel out of Egypt. Then Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, took Zipporah, Moses' wife, after he had sent her back with her 2 sons, of whom the name of one was Gershom, for he said, I have been a stranger in a foreign land. And the name of the other was Eliezer, for he said, the God of my father was my help, and delivered me from the sword of Pharaoh. And Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, came with his sons and his wife to Moses in the wilderness, where he was encamped at the mountain of God. Verse 6. Now he had said to Moses, I, your father-in-law, Jethro, am coming to you with your wife and her 2 sons with her. So Moses went out to meet his father-in-law, bowed down and kissed him. And they asked each other about their well-being. And they went into the tent, and Moses said to his father-in-law, and Moses told his father-in-law all that the Lord had done to Pharaoh and to the Egyptians for Israel's sake. All the hardship that had come upon them on the way, and how the Lord had delivered them. Verse 9. Then Jethro rejoiced for all the good which the Lord had done for Israel, whom he had delivered out of the hand of the Egyptians. And Jethro said, Blessed be the Lord, who has delivered you out of the hand of the Egyptians and out of the hand of Pharaoh, and who has delivered the people from under the hand of the Egyptians. Now I know that the Lord is greater than all Now I know that the Lord is greater than all the gods, for in the very thing in which they behaved proudly, he was above them. Verse 12. Then Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, took a burnt offering and other sacrifices to offer to God. And Aaron came with all the elders of Israel to eat bread with Moses' father-in-law before God. And so it was on the next day that Moses sat to judge the people. And the people stood before Moses from morning till evening. So Moses' father-in-law saw all that he did for the people. He said, "What is this thing that you are doing for the people? Why do you alone sit and all the people stand before you from morning until evening?" And Moses said to his father-in-law, "Because the people come to me to inquire of God. When they have a difficulty, they come to me, and I judge between one and another, and I make known the statutes of God and his laws." So Moses' father-in-law said to him, "The thing that you do is not good. Both you and these people who are with you will surely wear yourselves out. For the thing is too much for you. You are not able to perform it by yourself. Listen now to my voice. I'll give you counsel, and God will be with you. Stand before God for the people, so that you may bring the difficulties to God. And you shall teach them the statutes and the laws, and show them the way in which they must walk and work they must do. Moreover, you shall select from all the people able men, such as fear God, men of truth, hating covetousness, and place such over them to be rulers of thousands, rulers of hundreds, rulers of 50s, and rulers of 10s. Verse 22. And let them judge the people at all times. Then it will be that every great matter they shall bring to you, but every small matter they themselves shall judge. So it will be easier for you, for they will bear the burden with you. If you do the thing, and God so commands you, then you will be able to endure, and all these people will also go to their place in peace. Verse 24. So Moses heeded the voice of his father-in-law, and did all that he had said. And Moses chose able men out of all Israel, and made them heads over the people, rulers of thousands, rulers of hundreds, rulers of 50s, and rulers of 10s. So they judged the people at all times. The hard cases they brought to Moses, but they judged every small case themselves. Verse 27. Then Moses let his father-in-law depart, and he went his way to his own land. Chapter 19 of the book of Exodus. In the 3rd month, after the children of Israel had gone out of the land of Egypt, on the same day they came to the wilderness of Sinai, for they had departed from Rephidim, had come to the wilderness of Sinai, and camped in the wilderness. So Israel camped there before the mountain. And Moses went up to God, and the Lord called to him from the mountain, saying, Thus you shall say to the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel, You have seen what I did to the Egyptians, and how I bore you on eagle's wings, and brought you to myself. Now therefore, if you will indeed obey my voice, and keep my covenant, then you shall be a special treasure to me above all people. For all the earth is mine, and you shall be to me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words which you shall speak to the children of Israel. So Moses came and called for the elders of the people and laid before them all these words which the Lord commanded him. Then all the people answered together and said, all that the Lord has spoken we will do. So Moses brought back the words of the people to the Lord. And the Lord said to Moses, behold, I come to you in the thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with you, and believe you forever. So Moses told the words of the people to the Lord. Then the Lord said to Moses, go to the people and consecrate them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes, and let them be ready for the third day. For on the third day the Lord will come down upon Mount Sinai in the sight of all the people. You shall set bounds for the people all around, saying, take heed to your souls, that you do not go up to the mountain or touch its base. Whoever touches the mountain shall surely be put to death. Not a hand shall touch him, but he shall surely be stoned or shot with an arrow. Whether man or beast, he shall not live. When the trumpet sounds long, they shall come near the mountain. So Moses went down from the mountain to the people and sanctified the people, and they washed their clothes. And he said to the people, be ready for the third day. Do not come near your wives. Then it came to pass on the third day, in the morning, that there were thunderings and lightnings, and a thick cloud on the mountain, and the sound of the trumpet was very loud, so that all the people who were in the camp trembled. And Moses brought the people out of the camp to meet with God, and they stood at the foot of the mountain. Now Mount Sinai was completely in smoke, because the Lord descended upon it in fire. Its smoke ascended like the smoke of a furnace, and the whole mountain quaked greatly. And when the blast of the trumpet sounded long and became louder and louder, Moses spoke, and God answered him by voice. Then the Lord came down upon Mount Sinai on the top of the mountain, and the people called Moses to the top of the mountain, and Moses went up. And the Lord said to Moses, go down and warn the people, lest they break through to gaze at the Lord, and many of them perish. Also let the priests who come near the Lord consecrate themselves, lest the Lord break out against them. But Moses said to the Lord, the people cannot come up to Mount Sinai. You warned us, saying, set bounds around the mountain and consecrate it. Then the Lord said to Moses, away, get down and then come up, you and Aaron with you. But do not let the priests and the people break through to come up to the Lord, lest he break out against them. So Moses went down to the people, and he spoke to them. Chapter 20 of the book of Exodus. And God spoke all these words, saying, I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make for yourself a carved image and a likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. You shall not bow down to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children to the third and fourth generations of those who hate me, but showing mercy to thousands, to those who love me and keep my commandments. You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless who takes his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord your God. In it you shall do no work. You, nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your male servant, nor your female servant, nor your cattle, nor your stranger, who is within your gates. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, the sea and all that is in them, and rested the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath and hallowed it. Verse 12. Honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long upon the land which the Lord your God is giving you. You shall not murder. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. You shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife, nor his male servant, nor his female servant, nor his ox, nor his donkey, nor anything that is in your neighbor's. That is your neighbor's. Verse 18. Now all the people witnessed the thunderings, the lightning flashes, the sound of the trumpet, and the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they trembled and stood afar off. Then the Lord said to Moses, You speak with us, and we will hear. But let not God speak with us, lest we die. And Moses said to the people, Do not fear, for God has come to test you, and that his fear may be before you, so that you may not sin. So the people stood afar off, but Moses drew near the thick darkness where God was. Verse 22. Then the Lord said to Moses, Thus you shall say to the children of Israel, You have seen that I have talked with you from heaven. You shall not make anything to be with me, gods of silver or gods of gold you shall not make for yourselves. An altar of earth you shall make for me, and you shall sacrifice on it your burnt offerings and your peace offerings, your sheep and your oxen. In every place where I record my name, I will come to you, and I'll bless you. And if you make me an altar of stone, For if you use your tool on it, you have profaned it. Nor shall you go up by steps to my altar, that your nakedness may not be exposed on it. Let me repeat verse 26. Nor shall you go up by steps to my altar, that your nakedness may be exposed on it. Chapter 21 of the book of Exodus. Now these are the judgments which you shall set before them. If you buy a Hebrew servant, he shall serve 6 years, and in the 7th he shall go out free and pay nothing. If he comes in by himself, he shall go out by himself. If he comes in married, then his wife shall go out with him. If his master has given him a wife, and she has borne him sons or daughters, the wife and her children shall be her master's, and he shall go out by himself. But if the servant plainly says, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I will not go out free, then his master shall bring him to the judges. He shall also bring him to the door, or to the doorpost, and his master shall pierce his ear with an awl, and he shall serve him forever. And if a man sells his daughter to be a female slave, he shall not go out as the male slaves do. If she does not please her master, who has betrothed her to himself, then he shall let her be redeemed. He shall have no right to sell her to a foreign people, since he has dealt deceitfully with her. And if he has betrothed her to his sons, he shall deal with her according to the customs of daughters. If he takes another wife, he shall not diminish her food, her clothing, and her marriage rights. And if he does not do these three for her, then she shall go out free without paying money. He who strikes a man so that he dies shall surely be put to death. However, if he did not lie in wait, but God delivered him into his hand, then I will appoint for you a place where he may flee. But if a man acts with premeditation against his name from my altar, that he may die. And he who strikes his father or his mother shall surely be put to death. He who kidnaps a man and sells him, or if he is found in his hand, shall surely be put to death. And he who curses his father or his mother shall surely be put to death. If men contend with each other, and one strikes the other with a stone or with his fist, and he does not die, but is confined to his bed, if he rises again and walks about outside with his staff, then he who struck him shall be acquainted. He shall only pay for the loss of his time, and shall provide for him to be thoroughly healed. And if a man beats his male or female servant with a rod, so that he dies under his hand, he shall surely be punished. Notwithstanding, if he remains alive a day or two, he shall not be punished, for he is his property. If men fight and hurt a woman with child, so that she gives birth prematurely, yet no harm follows, he shall surely be punished accordingly, as the woman's husband imposes on him. And he shall pay as the judges determine. But if any harm follows, then you shall give life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burn for burn, wound for wound, stripe for stripe. If a man strikes the eye of his male or female servant and destroys it, he shall let him go free for the sake of his eye. And if he knocks out the tooth of his male or female servant, he shall let him go free for the sake of his tooth. If an ox goes a man or a woman to death, then the ox shall surely be stoned, and its flesh shall not be eaten. But the owner of the ox shall be acquainted. But if the ox tended to thirst with its horn in times past, and it has been made known to his owner, and he has not kept it confined, so that it has killed a man or a woman, the ox shall be stoned, and its owner also shall be put to death. If there is imposed on him a sum of money, then he shall pay to redeem his life, whatever is imposed on him. Whether it has got a son or got a daughter, according to this judgment, it shall be done to him. If the ox goes male or a female servant, he shall give to their master 30 shekels of silver, and the ox shall be stoned. And if a man opens a pit, or if a man digs a pit and does not cover it, and an ox or a donkey falls in it, the owner of the pit shall make it good. He shall give money to their owner, but the dead animal shall be his. If a man's ox hurts another's, so that it dies, then they shall sell the live ox and divide the money from it, and the dead ox they shall also divide. For if it was known that the ox tended to thirst in time past, and its owner has not kept it confined, then he shall surely pay ox for ox. The dead animal shall also be his. Chapter 22 of the book of Exodus. If a man steals an ox or a sheep and slaughters it or sells it, he shall restore 5 oxen for an ox, and 4 sheep for a sheep. If the thief is found breaking in, and he is stuck so that he dies, there shall be no guilt for his bloodshed. If the sun has risen on him, there shall be guilt for his bloodshed. He should make full restitution. If he has nothing, then he shall be sold for his theft. If the theft is certainly found alive in his hand, whether it is an ox or donkey or sheep, he shall restore double. If a man causes a field or vineyard to be gazed, and lets loose his animal, and it feeds in another man's field, he shall make restitution from the best of his own field and the best of his own vineyard. If fire breaks out and catches in thorns, so that stacked grain, standing grain, or the field is consumed, he who kindled the fire shall surely make restitution. If a man delivers to his neighbor money or articles to keep, and it is stolen out of the man's house, if the thief is found, he shall pay double. If the thief is not found, then the master of the house shall be brought to the judges to see whether he has put his hand into the neighbor's goods. For any kind of trespass, whether it concerns an ox, a donkey, a sheep, a clothing, or for any kind of lost thing which another claims to be his, Verse 9. For any kind of trespass, whether it concerns an ox, a donkey, a sheep, or clothing, for any kind of lost thing which another claims to be his, the cause of both parties shall come before the judges, and whoever the judges condemn shall pay double to his neighbor. Verse 10. If a man delivers to his neighbor a donkey, an ox, a sheep, or any animal to keep, and it dies, is hurt, or driven away, no one seeing it, then an oath of the Lord shall be between them, that he has not put his hand into his neighbor's goods, and the owner of it accept that, and he shall not make it good. But if in fact it is stolen from him, he shall make restitution to the owner of it. If it is torn to pieces by a beast, then he shall bring it as evidence, and he shall not make good what was torn. Verse 14. And if a man borrows anything from his neighbor, and it becomes injured or dies, the owner of it not being with it, he shall surely make it good. If its owner was with it, he shall not make it good. If it was hired, it came for its hire. Verse 16. If a man entices a virgin who is not betrothed and lies with her, he shall surely pay the bride price for her to be his wife. If her father utterly refuses to give her to him, he shall pay the money according to the bride price of virgins. You shall not permit a sorcerer to live. Let me repeat verse 18. You shall not permit a sorceress to live. Other versions say, you shall not permit a witch to live. Verse 19 says, whoever lies with an animal shall surely be put to death. He who sacrifices to any god except to the Lord only, he shall be utterly destroyed. You shall neither mistreat a stranger, nor oppress him, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. You shall not afflict any widow or fatherless child. If you afflict them in any way, and they cry at all to me, I will surely hear their cry, and my wrath will become hot, and I'll kill you with the sword. Your wives shall be widows, and your children shall be fatherless. If you lend money to any of my people who are poor among you, you shall not be like a money lender to him. You shall not charge him interest. If you ever take your neighbor's garment as a pledge, you shall return it to him before the sun goes down. For that is his only covering. It is his garment for his skin. What will he sleep in? And it will be that when he cries to me, I will hear, for I am gracious. You shall not revile God, nor curse a ruler of your people. You shall not delay to offer the first of your ripe produce and your juices. The firstborn of your sons you shall give to me. Wow. Likewise, you shall do with your oxen and your sheep. It shall be with its mother 7 days. On the 8th day you shall give it to me. And you shall be holy men to me. You shall not eat meat torn by beasts in the field. You shall throw it to the dogs. Chapter 23 of the book of Exodus. You shall not circulate a false report. Do not put your hand with the wicked to be an unrighteous witness. You shall not follow a crowd to do evil, nor shall you testify in a dispute so as to turn aside after many to pervert justice. You shall not show partiality to a poor man in his dispute. If you meet your enemy's ox or his donkey going astray, you shall surely bring it back to him. If you see the donkey of one who hates you lying under its burden, and you would refrain from helping him eat, you shall surely help him with it. You shall not pervert the judgment of your poor in his dispute. Keep yourself far from a false matter. Do not kill the innocent and righteous, for I will not justify the wicked. And you shall take no bribe, for a bribe blinds the discerning and perverts the words of the righteous. Let me repeat verse 8. It is very important. And you shall take no bribe, for a bribe blinds the discerning and perverts the words of the righteous. Also you shall not oppress a stranger, for you know the heart of the stranger, because you were strangers in the land of Egypt. 6 years you shall sow your land and gather in its produce. But the 7th year you shall let it rest and lie fallow, that the poor of your people may eat, and whatever they leave, the beasts of the field may eat. In like manner you shall do with your vineyard and your olive grove. 6 days you shall do your work, and on the 7th day you shall rest, that your ox and your donkey may rest, and the son and your female servant and the stranger may be refreshed. And in all that I have said to you, be circumspect, and make no mention of the name of other gods, nor let it be heard from your mouth. 3 times you shall keep a feast to me in the year. You shall keep the feast of unleavened bread. You shall eat unleavened bread 7 days, as I commanded you. At that time appointed in the month of Abib, for in it you came out of Egypt. None shall appear before me empty. And the feast of harvest, the first fruits of your labors, which you have sown in the field, and the feast of ingathering at the end of the year, when you have gathered in the fruit of your labors from the field. 3 times in the year all your males shall appear before the Lord God. You shall not offer the blood of my sacrifice with leavened bread, nor shall the fat of my sacrifice remain until morning. The first of the first fruits of your land you shall bring into the house of the Lord your God. You shall not boil a young goat in its mouth, in its mother's milk. Behold, I send an angel before you to keep you in the way and to bring you into the place which I prepared. Beware of him and obey his voice. Do not provoke him, for he will not pardon your transgressions. For my name is in him. Let me repeat verse 21. Beware of him and obey his voice. Do not provoke him, for he will not pardon your transgressions. For my name is in him. But if you indeed obey his voice and do all I speak, then I will be an enemy to your enemies and an adversary to your adversaries. For my angel will go before you and bring you in to the Amorites and the Hittites and the Perizzites and the Canaanites and the Hivites and the Jebusites, and I'll cut them off. You shall not bow down to their gods, nor serve them, nor do according to their works, but you shall utterly overthrow them, completely break down their sacred pillars. So you shall serve the Lord your God, and he will bless your sickness, and he will bless your bread and your water. And I will take sicknesses away from the midst of you. No one shall suffer miscarriage or be barren in your land. I'll fulfill the number of your days. I'll send my fear before you. I'll cause my confusion among all of the people whom you come, and will make all your enemies turn their backs to you. And I'll send hornets before you, which shall drive out the Hivite, the Canaanite, the Hittite from before you. I will not drive them out from before you in 1 year, lest the land become desolate, and the beasts of the field become too many. Become too numerous for you. Little by little I will drive them out before you until you have increased and you inherit the land. And I will set your bounds from the Red Sea unto the sea Philistia, and from the desert to the river. For I will deliver the inhabitants of the land into your hand, and you shall drive them out before you. You shall make no covenant with them, nor with their gods. They shall not dwell in your land, lest they make you sin against me. For if you serve their gods, it will surely be a snare to you. Wow. We bless the name of the Lord for His word. I want to leave just a few questions for your individual personal study in your free time as you continue to give yourselves more into God's word, so that you're grounded in His word. What did the Lord say about justice for all, justice for the poor? And what did the Lord say about taking a bribe? What did the Lord say about taking a bribe? And what happens to the righteous? What happens to the righteous if they take up a bribe? What happens to them? What instruction did the Lord give to the children of Israel in regard to the angel of the Lord, when He told them, behold, I send an angel before you to keep you in the way? What instruction did He tell them? What did He tell them to heed to be aware of as the angel of the Lord moved with them, as He kept them on the way? And what would happen to them if they did not do what would happen to them? And if they transgressed, what would happen to them? What did the Lord say? According to verse 20, between verse 20 and verse 24, when you read that portion of the scripture, and what promise did the Lord give to the children of Israel if they did what was right in the sight of the Lord? And what would happen if they did not do what was right? And what did the Lord tell them? According to verse 29 of Exodus chapter 23. Why did the Lord say that What was the reason for him saying that I will not drive them out all at once? What did he mean? What did the Lord mean in verse 29 that I will not drive them out from you before you in 1 year? Why? Why did he choose not to drive them out in 1 year? What was the reason for this? And what promise is attached to one of the 10 commandments? Or what commandment has a promise attached to it? According to chapter 20 of the book of Exodus, what commandment has a promise attached to it? Now, according to chapter 18, why did Jethro come to meet Moses? What was the reason for him meeting Jethro? So for him meeting Moses. And what did Jethro bring with him when he came to meet Moses? And later on we see Moses. We see Moses bowing down. Why did Moses bow down before his father-in-law? Why did he bow down? Was it a sign of respect? Was he respecting and honoring his father? Why was he bowing before his father-in-law? And why do you think this act shows? What does this act show about their relationship? In verse 13, we see that, so it was that on the next day that Moses sat to judge the people, and the people stood before him from morning till evening. So when Moses, his father-in-law, saw all that he did for the people, he said, what is the thing that you are doing for the people? Why do you sit alone? And all these people stand before you from morning until evening. And Moses said to his father-in-law, because the people come to me to inquire of God. And later on we see Moses, his father-in-law, telling him that you will wear yourselves out. So, in the rest of these verses we see his father-in-law giving him a certain advice. Because in verse 19 he said, listen now to my voice, I'll give you counsel, and God will be with you. Stand before God for the people, so that you may bring the difficulties to God. Now, was it right for Jethro to give Moses, God's prophet and spokesman, advice? Was it right? What was the basis for getting new judges appointing people who would judge cases. What was the basis for these new judges? And why was it important that these new judges be kept? Why was it important? And why was it so essential that the standards be kept? Because we see that certain things were supposed to be considered in choosing these new judges. According to verse 21, what are some of those things that were put into consideration in choosing the people that would rule over thousands, hundreds, fifties, and tens? And then what cases would Moses handle at the time of the appointment of the new judges in that era? According to chapter 19 of Exodus, what does God mean that he carried them on eagle's wings? Because according to verse 4 of chapter 19, you have seen that I did to the Egyptians. You have seen what I did to the Egyptians, and how I bore you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself. What did God mean that he bore them on eagle's wings? And why was God reminding them of how he bore them, of how he carried them on the eagle's wings? Why? Were they forgetful? Were they less appreciative? Do we still have people or Christians today who are less appreciative, who are inconsiderate, who don't even remember the things that God did for them? Do we still have them in our time? That when trouble comes their way, they begin to quake. They begin to quake. And they begin to doubt God's power. They begin to doubt the word of the Lord. And they lose their faith. Do we still have them today? What is God's covenant that he wanted them to keep at that time? And how were they to keep that covenant? And what promises did God make for them if they obeyed? What promises did God make for them if they obeyed? And what does it mean that they are his possessions? What did God mean that they are his possession? And why does he call them a kingdom of priests, a holy nation? Why? Why did God call them a kingdom of priests and the holy nation? Wow. As we finish, join us today for the evening service at 5:30 to 8 p.m. And then join us tonight at 11 p.m. for the midnight watch. And also tomorrow we will have just worship at 10 a.m. But I beseech you, I may not know what you could be going through today, the sorrow, the pain, and the hardships. For though the mountains tremble and the oceans rage and war against your soul, the devil may wage. Though the tempest has turned your smiles upside down and your life like a river of sorrow in which you may drown, I want to tell you, brother or sister, you stand unshaken for as long as it stands or it lasts, because faithful is he that promised. The God who said that let there be day, let there be night, let there be bright. He is in charge. He has not forsaken you. Keep the faith. Keep trusting him, because him that promised is faithful and he will do it. For they that trust in the Lord shall never be disappointed. Trust in God's word. Trust his word. Trust the Lord at all times. May the Lord be your defense. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. I wish you a blessed afternoon. Shalom.